Hello, 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 everyone, and happy Financially Lit Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Back at it again every Tuesday live at 6:30 to bring you news, tips, and tricks to help you wealth up. So thank you for those that are joined in with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the share button. Drop in a comment. I wanna know who's live with me, who's tuned in. So go ahead and say, "Hey girl, what's good?" All that good stuff. And if you haven't, if you're tuning in from YouTube, go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel Sipping Wealth and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another Financially Lit Tuesday. So, how y'all feeling tonight? Today is a huge topic for those that have children, for those that are expecting children, for those that want children in the future. This is the live of all lives. Like, this is the one. So to make sure that you are like full of knowledge and all these tips and tricks and things, make sure that your children have a wealthy, a super duper awesome future. So if you don't have it already, go ahead. I'll give y'all a little time. Go ahead and get your notepad, your pen and pencil, all that good stuff. Open your iPhone notes, whatever the case may be, so that you can take notes, because I'm going to be dropping some valuable information today with y'all. So be sure to get ready to take notes and share. Go ahead and share with your family, friends, so that they are tuned in as well. Especially the ones that have children, because we want them to wealth up. Hey Brian, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in. I hope all is well. Hey Saskia, what's up, girl? Hey, so glad you tuned in. So yes, today we are going to be getting all that done. Make sure you hit the share button so all your friends and family members can tune in and get this knowledge, because we don't want to keep the wealth to ourselves. We want to make sure that we spread it, spread the love, spread the knowledge, all that good stuff. All right, so if y'all have any questions throughout this, be sure to make sure that you just drop it in the comment section. I want to make sure that we're flowing, we're understanding the information that's being delivered today, because I'm going to drop some terminology here. It's going to get a little technical. So if y'all do have questions throughout the live, be sure to go ahead and drop it in the comments. Feel free to engage, like all that good stuff. Continue to share all that. So, first things first, to get us started. Hey Darren, how's it going? He said, "Let go." Ooh, we let. Awesome. So, first things first, when making sure that we are planning for our children's future, right, is goals. Y'all, we can't just jump in with nothing to actually, like, what are we doing? We got to make sure we have goals established. Like, what is our end game? So when in business, like, we always talk about making sure that we have the end in mind. Like, you have to make sure that you have that end in mind at all times, because that is what's going to make sure that you actually get there, right? So what are our goals? What do we want for our children, right? Do we want to start a college fund? Do we want them to have a nest egg for investing? Do we want them to help them have a down payment for their first car or house, or a combination of it all? Like, what exactly do we want? Do we want to teach our kids about finances, about financial literacy, about budgeting, money management? What exactly do we want for our kids? So we want to make sure that we write these things down so that we're organized, structured. We're going into this with a plan. Our kids is about to be is going to join this wealth up train, okay? So to start off with a few methods, y'all. So I'm sure quite a few of you are familiar with. Let me know if you are familiar with custodial accounts. Who out there, if you do have children, do you have a custodial account for your child? And if you don't, or do you know what a custodial account is? Let me know. So yeah, so with the custodial account, it's a great way to create a savings for your child. and with your child. So now your child has an account with their name on it, with their money in it that's growing, that they can also move around with, right? So opening like a custodial account, you're on the account with the child, but the child is the beneficiary of the account. So you're just there to kind of be there, because they're minors. So you're just like holding their hands, do it all, but it's their account. So you can make sure that you have your eyes on it. So as they get into their teenage years, whatever the case may be, if they're like pulling money and stuff throughout the account, you have access to the account. So if you want to go and check on it, then you can do so. It is a great way to make sure that you have some kind of savings. If your child is looking to invest, so that's a great way to do too. So now they've been putting away their money for some time, and they can invest in stocks, security, other securities, crypto, whatever the case may be. And it could be a nice learning experience for you and your child. Saskia said, is a savings account? If not, what is the difference? So with custodial accounts, they can be a savings account, but you also can set it up where they can use it as a checking account as well. So you can set up a savings custodial, you can set up a regular checking, so it come with a debit card, and you're able to actually use the funds out of the account. And the other bonus is, like I said, with custodial accounts, you're able to make sure that it's that you can keep an eye on the kids' money. And another thing as well is the earnings aren't taxed like us regular people, because it's going to be a child tax. Kiddie taxes run a little bit different. So if your child is making money, then there is a lot more leeway as far as the amount of money that they're taxed. Because they're taxed on a smaller percentage, or a smaller amount, I should say. So on the first, let's say $1,100 will be taxed at 0. And then as they grow in income, they may hit estate or trust tax, or they can be taxed at the regular tax rate, depending on how much money that child is earning. Right? So something else to keep in mind is it's a good way to hold your child's assets, right? So you want to make sure that, hey, like my child learned how financial stability, like my child learns how to manage money, but also has that guidance as well. I do want to say that as you grow your child's assets and things like that, and their income, and put money away from them, they may not be eligible for like financial aid or other government or community aid, because they're like balling. But if that's the case, then that's a problem. That's like a problem that is like so minute, because you would rather your child have a lot more money and that not even be a question. Like, leave that for the other folks, and my child is good, right? So so we're talking generational wealth, making sure our child is financially affluent, right? And making sure that they're stacking up the asset column. All right. So for my people, another thing I do want to mention is the Greenlight card. So the Greenlight app is a pretty cool application that I learned about a few months or probably even last year. So one of the parents that actually used this. So what it allows you to do is called Greenlight. It allows you to have accounts with the child. So if you're giving your child an allowance, or they're receiving money from other people, they have like their regular account number and everything. They have their regular debit card, but what you can stop their transactions. So if they're trying to go to I don't know, the movies, and you're like, no, they're not going to be spending. You can go into the app and turn it off, stop them from spending their money. It will alert you, and you can set different alerts for the different amounts. You can literally customize the child's budget plan. Like, hey, you can only spend $20 this week, and it will shut down the card after they spend $20. So it's a really cool app to kind of monitor your child's spending and also set them on a budget, like, so they can gain that discipline, that financial discipline. So I highly recommend this. Like I said, it's called the Green Light Card. It's not that much. It's about like $5 or so a month or something like that. But definitely take a look at it, look into it, and yeah. So for my parents that are looking to save for their child's education, some of you may have heard of the 529 plan. So a 529 qualified tuition plan. Let me know if you heard of it. Or if you're even saving towards it. If you have the custodial account, if you have a 529, I kind of want to get an idea of what y'all are already doing for your children. Or what you had in mind as well. So for the 529 plan, I will be going over a lot of information. Hold on, bear with me. If you have any questions as I'm going over the 529 plan and the different qualifications and things within it, let me know. Don't be afraid to ask me. So a 529 plan has, it's mainly used for its tax advantages, because it allows parents to put away money for this cause without having to pay taxes on it, right? So you can contribute to the plan. You can actually have the plan invested into different mutual funds, more aggressive ones, more conservative ones, depending on how old the child is. So you can have this money grow in interest. So if you choose the right mutual plan fund, that you can think of how much money over time that education account can grow up to. And it has that tax advantage. So many of these plans have something called a target date, which is essentially like, hey, my child's school date, or my child's college date, or higher education date. So the date where you're like, oh shoot, let me start adjusting their earnings so that it's more conservative as they get closer to their college or the day when they're going to actually use those funds. Saskia says, is there a specific age for a child to use the Green Light Card? No, not at all. They can be 3 years old using their card. Like, there is no age limit. It's literally like a core application that the parent sets up for the child. So however old you think your child's ready to start learning this discipline, this financial discipline, go ahead and give it to them. And start teaching them that financial discipline with the card, because that's how most of us pay. We got away from cash. Cash kind of helped us with not spending so much, but we all use cards. So you can teach them that financial discipline using a card as extremely early. So it's up to you. There isn't an age. You can look it up, Google Green Light Card or Green Light app, and it will populate. For the 529 plan, another thing that you can do, it's not just for college, right? So you can use it for college, but you can also use it for K through 12 expenses, kindergarten through 12th grade expenses. So a lot of people aren't familiar with that. So if you want to send your kid off to a private school, or however you're like, hey, my child's an infant, but I want to start saving money so that I can put her into private school when she's 5 years old, or whatever the case may be. You can actually use the money from the 529 plan that's been growing interest, because you put it in an awesome mutual fund that's been building interest in money. And now you have money to put your child in a private school. So you can use it for K through 12 expenses. You can use it for college, tuition, fees, room and board, and other like related school costs. Like, it has to be related to their education. Another thing that you can also utilize it for is apprenticeship programs, like trades. If they're going to school to learn how to be a welder, or any other trade. So it doesn't have to necessarily be your traditional college. It could be any form of higher education. It just has to be, accredited and all that good stuff. So there are, qualifications to make sure that, hey, the money's going to an actual education expense. And also, like, if you have if that child or their siblings have student loan debt, that money can actually go towards the student loan debt for their siblings or that actual child, the beneficiary. So some people may not know that. So the Secure Act of 2019, so a couple of years ago, they made that change. They allowed the 529 plan to be used for other forms of higher education, and allowed up to 10,000 of it to be paid, to be repayment for student loans of their siblings. So that's pretty cool. I don't know about you, but I'm like, okay. But yeah, so you can use, like I said, it has to be educational purposes if you want to have that tax advantage. That's what the 529 plan is. It's a tax shield, right? So if you don't, then you will be taxed at your normal federal or state income tax rate, and you will have a 10% penalty on the earnings. So you do want to make sure that you're using it for educational costs, like, like do some higher form of education, do a certification, something, utilize that money in an educational way. It shouldn't be too complicated or hard to do so. There is no income limit for like the parent, as far as like how they can contribute, how much they can contribute into the fund. So if there is certain brackets as far as gift tax and all that other stuff and stuff like that, but they can put the money into there. It just won't be as much as a tax shield after a certain amount when it comes to gift tax. So how it works is, I'll go over Florida, since Florida, we don't have state tax, and most of you are tuning in from Florida. So your contributions are eligible for an annual gift tax exclusion of $15,000. So normally gift tax is always $15,000 exclusion, right? And for joint couples, married couples, is $30,000. But for your 529 plans, the perk about this is you can actually pay in a lump sum $75,000. So for my families that are like, oh, I just want to drop this lump sum of money into the plan because I made a lot of money this year and I'm not trying to pay all that in taxes, then you can actually put up to $75,000. Or if you're a joint filing couple, married, then you can put up to $150,000. So that is a great tax shield, a great tax break for my married folks and even my single folks, the $75K that you can go ahead and put away for your child, and that with that gift tax stipulation. And then with those accumulated earnings on that, on the 529 plan, you don't have to pay taxes on, which is great. The other thing is, like I said, you do want to be mindful of the penalty. Definitely want to be mindful of that penalty, 10% penalty, if you're not using it for educational purposes. How are y'all doing? How was that information about the 529 plan? Was it understandable? I got it. You're like, oh yeah. So it's a good perk. I want to see how y'all doing out there. So go ahead and chime in, comment. Let me know how you're feeling about the 529 plan, or even the custodial counts, green light. Did you get a chance to take a look at it? I want to hear what you got to say. So while you go ahead and drop comments, I'll go ahead and move on to IRAs, because you can actually set up custodial IRAs for your child. So this is investing for their retirement, their future. So you can do either a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. So the difference between the two is when you pay taxes. So with the Roth, you essentially pay the taxes when you put It's already tax dollars when you put it into the IRA plan. So you get taxed when you put it in. So when you go to pull it out at retirement, you don't get taxed again. So if you're at a higher income bracket or a tax bracket come retirement, then a Roth will work for you because you won't have to pay the taxes on that withdrawal and on those earnings. For my people that are like they're like, oh no, I'm gonna be living off of $2,000 a month. I'm gonna be living off of way less. I'm gonna live a simple lifestyle. Then you may want to stick with a traditional route. But Roth is usually taxes tend to increase as we age. And another thing is hey, like, why not alleviate that tax burden when you go to pull out your retirement fund, when you get of age. So with the traditional, you get taxed when you go to pull the money out, when the child goes to pull the money out. So it will reduce their taxable amount the year you put it in. But when you go to pull it out, you actually be taxed on it. So even in like 401ks, there's traditional and Roths. For individual accounts, same thing with custodial accounts, traditional and Roth. So it's really up to you and how you want to set it up. But that is an option to do so. Once the child becomes of legal age, 18, right? Due to the, I'm going to say this, the Uniform Gift to Minor Act, so it then leaves the parent and goes to the child. So then the child is now responsible for their own retirement account, which is pretty cool because it's like, hey, like it's your responsibility now. You're of age, but it's also cool because they can continue to contribute to their future, their retirement without being behind the curve. So now they're already 18 years ahead. And by then you could only imagine how much money has been accumulating during that time. So an alternative to the Roth IRA can be a brokerage account. You can set up brokerage account or mutual funds, things like that for your child as well, to allow them to have investment funds, things like that. And then you can transfer the ownership when they get turn 18, just like an IRA. So as they pay dividends out on the stocks or whatever the case may be, they'll pay it out into that account. When the child becomes 18, they get their money. Or they don't get it, but they get ownership of the account. So you do want to make sure that you are mindful about the fees. So different institutions do charge. So if you're going into options or different types of tradings, they do have different fees and things like that. But there's tons of educational tools on investing that you can read up on and also share with your child as well. So there's tons of information out there as far as how you can set up these brokerage accounts and mutual funds accounts for your child. Because we're running out of time, I won't be able to go through all the options and different saving tactics for your child, but I am going through quite a bit of them. And of course, this video will be available on the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel. I'm going to go over one more, and then we'll have to do a part 2 live on another day so that I can go over a few more tactics and ways that you can save for your child. So the last one I'm going to go over tonight is the UPMA account. So a lot of you may have learned of the UPMA account or the UGMA. Where did you get these acronyms? But it's called the Uniform Gifts to Minor. So UGMA, or the Uniform Transfer to Minor accounts. So, hey girl, what's up, Nicole? So it's kind of similar to the 529 plan, where you're building this minor account for your child, so that they can. But in this case, with the UPMA account, or I'm gonna call this UPMA account. Okay, I'll get the the two. But the UPMA account, they can spend the funds on anything. So it doesn't have the college stipulation, the education stipulation. You can literally set up this UPMA account, and then they build funds. They set it up through mutual funds, however investment vehicles you want to set up that UPMA account through. You can do that, and it will. But they can spend that money on anything. The returns are not as good because it's like a baby account. So the accounts are a little smaller. The earnings are a little smaller, like a baby mutual fund. But there are different UPMA accounts with different financial institutions offering different percentages, which is something to definitely look at. I know I can't go through like all of them and things like that, but like I said, definitely tune in to Spiritual Lives. I'll also be hosting a workshop specifically for child saving plans and things like that. Bring a few financial advisors as well that specialize in these different accounts and establishing them for you all. So I'll have that workshop coming out in the future. Just be sure to follow the Grand Rev Financial page and turn on your notification bells. If you're on the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe as well. And tune in to Financially Lit every Tuesday at 6:30. So next week, we are going to have Jason Scott. He's a realtor with Remax Supreme, located in Springfield, Jacksonville. I say it like it's its own city, but it's like kind of like a sub-city in Jacksonville because Jacksonville's so big. So Remax Supreme, he's coming in. We're gonna be live together next Tuesday, and we're talking real estate. So for those of you that are interested in just learning more about real estate, learning more about real estate investing, what you can do, or what to look out for, definitely be sure to tune in next week. Be sure to continue to share the lives with different people and individuals. And I'll continue to make sure that I come on every Tuesday and deliver you all these financial informations. Thank you, Saskia. I appreciate you. I definitely do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll make sure that I continue to come on live, share this information with you all. Like I said, I have so much more stuff that I wanted to go over with you all, like credit building, HSA accounts, life insurance, like all that stuff for your child. So next time we're gonna go over how to build your child's credit profile from the age of 13. So be sure to tune in and follow up with that child workshop. Next month's Wealth Up workshop is going to be solving your financial problems. So I'm going over debt management, financial foundations, really the basics to setting up your finances, all the nitty gritty and things like that. Be sure to go ahead and grab your tickets for that. And thank you for tuning in, like I said, to another episode of Financially Lit Tuesday. And I'll see y'all again next Tuesday at 6:30. Have a great rest of your day.